What's good, y'all? Got another vlog video for you. Figured if I was gonna drop 2 new pieces this week, I'll drop another vlog video this week. It's pretty much like another update video again because I took a break. I took another break again. But of course, consistency matters. But until I get it together with this, I have to get it together for myself. And in terms of where my mental health is, where my health in general, for that matter, is at. In terms of communication, to be better in terms of doing that. Still doing my therapy sessions. Everything just to establish that I'm in the right state of mind as I continue to do this. Because, of course, I'm still pursuing this and I'm still looking on to expand on this. And it takes time to do it. I just feel like, for those of y'all who understand where I'm coming from with this, I want y'all to be patient with me. I mean, that's the only thing I would want out of this, for y'all to be patient with me. And y'all know I'm going to give you some more stuff when I'm ready to drop some more stuff. And then some, down the line. But until then, I'm taking my time with it, as I usually do. Because it's a process, and I ain't rushing none of that. First thing that I want to get out the way, due to the social media that I use to get that reach out there, when I post my vlog videos, when I post my poetry, and eventually when I do more, I'm done with Twitter now. Actually, I've been done with Twitter before I deactivated the joint, or X as it's called now. Due to the state of things of where Twitter is going at this point, and I barely even use that joint anyway, I'm like, what's the point of using that anymore? For me, at least. I mean, I was using it for the purpose of doing what I usually do with YouTube, with Instagram, with Facebook, even that, because yes, I still use that. And as of late, Clubhouse. So, because I will most likely use those outlets to get these out there, to share my work, share my thoughts on things, to get all of this out there, I'm only using those at this point. Twitter or X isn't a thing for me anymore. Not really. I just decided to deactivate the account and be done with it. Especially given the state of where it's at right now, I ain't messing with that no more. I'm just not. So, in terms of the social media that you should be following me at now, well, especially if you're going to see it on my Instagram, right there in the bio on the page, I just got to make sure to change one thing now. Twitter is no more for me. It's no more. It's done. I'm done with that. All my other social media, you'll see me when you see me. You'll hear from me when you hear from me. Pretty much. But the next thing that I wanted to get into is getting into my recent pieces that I dropped this week. I felt like those 2 pieces were important to me to drop this week. And furthermore, for all of y'all who wants to get the updates on where my head is at, where I'm at right now in terms of, my thoughts, my feelings on things that I'm thinking about, that I'm talking about. that I'm willing to discuss more with people when I get the chance to, doing more open mics in person more often because I did start doing that before. But once the pandemic hit and kind of messed things up for me when it came to that, it took a while for me to adjust to that thought again because I've been doing virtual open mics, as I brought up with y'all before. Virtual open mics became the thing for me. But that was also a way for me to be comfortable with being able to do open mics in public again and get more exposure to it more often. So when I do that, I'm good to go. Would the nerves get to me? Sure, that could happen to any one of us. But it's also a matter of being able to be comfortable with the uncomfortable so that you could be able to overcome that obstacle and get through the process. So it doesn't feel like it's too much pressure on you, especially when you allow yourself the time to relieve yourself of that pressure and have a clear mind, have more clarity in terms of the direction you want to go. That's how I was doing it. So for me to do this, and furthermore, that's the whole purpose. That's the whole point. Um, as far as getting extra support in terms of the family that supports me, those of y'all who support me, therapy that supports me to make sure that I got my head on straight and that I've learned to accept things as they come, started with me, right? Of course. Excuse our dog in the background because he's always reacting to something outside. Excuse that. My apologies for that. You calm down, man. Calm that down. It's all right. You good. You relax. I mean, come on. It's not like these videos I do are scripted in the first place. So bear with me. It ain't scripted. I just go about it as I do it, man. That's just it. But yeah, I just felt like the two pieces that I dropped today were important for me because when I dropped those two, it's basically updates on where my head is at in terms of how I feel about things community wise, being within the poetry space and still want to make room to be a part of that. Which I always appreciate. And I'm always looking forward to more activity in terms of it when I'm involved, when I participate. Um, I appreciate the love as always, as much love as I could get from all of it because you know me, at the end of the day, when I do this stuff, I don't just post this stuff for the sake of wanting to get likes, um, reposts, shares. I don't get crazy with all of that. It's just a matter of me learning to accept it for myself that when I write these pieces is meant to be a reminder for me as much as it's meant to be a reminder for you guys. Because the stuff that I talk about in my work, I also encourage y'all to take it into consideration of where I'm coming from, but also establish where your head's at. So as you go about your lives, you have something to think about. You have something in mind to think about. When you already got your own stuff to work through, work with, deal with. Of course, we all do. Individually, we all do. But then the moments when we come together and actually have conversations about these things, even when we have different points of views, I'm always down for that. I always appreciate being able to be a part of something like that. To have that back and forth and not a heated one is the best way to go for me. Um, but then another thing that I wanted to touch on, in terms of trying to reevaluate where my head is at on things, um, the whole thing. I mean, this topic is nothing new, but it has to be reiterated every now and again, amongst other things. Comparisons. I'm usually not the type of person to make comparisons to anything and everything all the time. Sometimes I just like to be able to see things, read things, listen to things as they are, and take it in as they are, even with people. See where things go from there. But yeah, as usual with comparisons, that's also meant to be something to drive conversations. It's true, I get that. But in terms of the word comparison, for my sake, for my sanity, to maintain that and not go crazy over the fact that, there could be other people that I'm equating with, people that I knew, people that I don't know, that's making things happen for themselves. And it seemed like I'm one of those people that's just getting left behind. Everybody else is doing something. I'm just stuck here doing whatever, and I'm not going anywhere with anything. It just feels like I'm just letting my life passing me by, and I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not doing anything very productive with it. It's those kinds of comparisons that if I was going to compare myself to anybody else and feel less than just because someone else got something going on, before I really do establish myself out there, really put myself out there, then it feels like I'm a failure, that I actually did nothing with my life. As much as I got a passion, a love, and a passion for the stuff that I'm into, that I'm interested in, that I'm still trying to pursue. But then it's like all this time I could have made something happen already, but instead, nah, I didn't want to burn myself out too soon. I didn't want to rush the process. I didn't want to jump ahead into things without thinking about how I'm going to approach things. I don't like doing that to myself. But then there comes the time when I shouldn't take way too long to take the initiative and actually do something about that. Make something happen. I just got to be able to find more outlets, find more connections, find more opportunities. It's not just going to come to me that easily. And that's something I had to accept. That's something I had to come to terms with. I got to make it happen for me. I got to make the moves. I got to make something that seems impossible for me to do possible. I may not get the kind of follows, the kind of likes, the amount, I should say, the kind of buzz that I should be getting right now. I may not be getting all of that right now, but I'm not in a hurry for it. So to make those kinds of comparisons to other people thinking that I should be catching up with them, nah, I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I do appreciate seeing what they are capable of doing, what they are able to do in terms of following their paths of where they decide to take their lives, their careers, their passions, and follow through on them. I always appreciate being able to see people do that. So I'm always going to show love for that reason and that reason alone. I'm always going to show love for that. And then for me to get that in return, I'm more than happy to receive it. It just encourages me to push myself more, to push myself further than I ever did, than I ever was, in order for me to grow with it, get better with it, and get more exposure for it. Yeah. But again, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not rushing anything. I'm not trying to call myself wanting to speed past everybody else just because they were already ahead of me. Because I'm not alone in this. Like I mentioned before, I'm one of the few people who may not be at that level yet as much as everyone else is. I may not be there yet, but I'm amongst a few people who may not be there yet. But that does not mean it's going to stop that from happening in terms of following that path, following my dreams, following my passion. But then I also got to be able to make room for everything else, because the more I try to pursue that passion, the more consumed I am by it, the more burnout that comes from it. And I don't want that to be the case. I want to be able to balance everything out. Once again, that word comes to mind, balance. Because without it, I'm all over the place. Discombobulated. And not thinking things through, trying to jump the gun on things where I should take the time to see it through, to see it thoroughly. If there's going to be any changes made along the way, then yeah, it's going to happen. And as much as I tend to say that certain things that I was looking towards, anything else that I wanted to do outside of the poetry, the music stuff, is on the back burner. At this point, it might as well be in a cryostasis. Okay? It might as well be in a cryostasis. But no worries, because in order for me to achieve what I'm looking forward to, what I'm looking towards, I have to get my priorities straight, get my head on straight, and come to terms with the reality of how I deal with things in life. Because it starts with me, because if I don't accept who I am, how much better I've gotten, and how much work there's left to do in order to make things happen for me. If I can't do that, then everything that I talk about, that I write about, it don't mean anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this vlog video. And sure, it's another long one, but at this point, it doesn't matter how long the vlogs are. It's just a matter of me just getting my thoughts across and just letting y'all know that everything that I do, I'm doing it from the heart. I'm making sure I know where my head's at when I do all of these things, so that I'm not selling myself short. I'm not stretching myself too thin. I'm making sure that whatever idea I have, it's fleshed out and it has depth. It has meaning. It has purpose. That's it. That's something I always go for. For those of y'all that know this already, I'm pretty sure y'all still kept that in mind, because that's exactly what y'all trying to do. That much I know. For those that don't know, Now you do. So with that being said, this is BlueFlamez Da Poet, and I'm out.